The massive alien ship hung in space like a silver mountain. Ambassador Veltari stood on the bridge, looking down at the blue and green planet called Earth. This was his 5th trip to this strange world, and he was getting tired of being ignored. "Send the message again," he told his communications officer. The officer pressed some buttons and the same message went out that they had been sending for 30 years. "Greetings, people of Earth. The Galactic Council invites you to join our great family of worlds. We offer peace, technology, and protection." Veltari waited. He had been doing this job for a long time. Every species he had ever met jumped at the chance to join the Council. Who wouldn't want faster-than-light travel? Who wouldn't want energy weapons and force shields? Who wouldn't want protection from the dangerous things that lived in the dark between stars? But humans were different. They always said no. The reply came from Earth's orbital defense network. Admiral Jiho Park's face appeared on the screen. He was a middle-aged human with gray hair and calm eyes. Veltari had seen this man many times before. "Ambassador Veltari," Admiral Park said politely, "Earth appreciates the Council's continued interest. However, we must respectfully decline your offer of membership. We also decline any treaties or technology exchanges. We wish you and your crew safe travels back to Council space." The message ended. Veltari's tentacles twitched with frustration. This was exactly what the human had said last time, and the time before that, and every time for 30 years. "I don't understand," said Commander Thex, Veltari's second-in-command. "They live on one small world. They barely have space travel. Why do they keep saying no to us?" Veltari looked at the data files about Earth. Humans had only reached their own moon 100 years ago. They had small colonies on Mars and some mining stations in their asteroid belt. Compared to the great civilizations of the galaxy, they were nothing. "Pride," Veltari said finally. "Some species think they can do everything alone. They usually learn better when the hegemon pirates attack them, or when the void hunters come calling." Down on Earth's moon, Dr. Minseo Kim watched the alien ship through her telescope. She was the head of the Xenobiology Research Center at Luna Station. She had been studying aliens for 20 years, ever since they first showed up. Dr. Kim knew things that Ambassador Veltari did not know. She knew that Earth's leaders had been preparing for this day since the first alien ship arrived. She knew about the secret meetings and the hidden projects. She knew that Earth was not as helpless as it looked. "They're leaving," said her assistant, Dr. Sunho Lee. He pointed at the screen showing the alien ship moving away from Earth. "Good," Dr. Kim said quietly. "We need more time." The alien ship jumped to faster-than-light speed and disappeared. "Doctor," Kim immediately sent a coded message to Mars. The message was simple. "Visitors gone. Continue Project Phoenix." On Mars, in the deep underground shipyards beneath the Valles Marineris Canyon, Chief Engineer Taeyang Cho got the message. He stood in a massive cave that had been carved out of solid rock. The cave was so big that clouds formed near the ceiling, but Taeyang wasn't looking at the cave. He was looking at the ships. Hundreds of them filled the space, each one bigger than anything Earth had ever built before. They were sleek and deadly, painted in dark colors that would be hard to see in space. These were not the slow cargo ships that aliens sometimes spotted near Earth. These were warships. "How many are ready?" Taeyang asked his deputy, Engineer Nari Hong. 237 are combat ready, she replied. Another 150 will be finished in 6 months. The last batch should be done by next year. Taeyang nodded. The timeline was good. Earth would have its 1,000 ships soon. The technology in these ships came from many sources. Some of it was human invention. Some came from alien ships that had accidentally crashed on Earth over the years. Some came from careful study of alien technology during the peaceful meetings that happened every few years. The aliens thought humans were primitive. They thought humans couldn't understand advanced technology. They were wrong. "Sir," called out Technician Junho Park from across the shipyard, "the new engines are ready for testing." Taeyang walked over to where a team of engineers was working on a new faster-than-light drive. This wasn't a copy of alien technology. This was something completely new, something that humans had invented themselves. How fast will it go? Taeyang asked. Faster than anything the council has, Junho said, with a grin. Maybe twice as fast, maybe more. On Earth, in the capital city of Geneva, President Suman An sat in a secure meeting room deep underground. Around the table sat the most important people in Earth's government. These were the people who made the decisions that kept Earth free. The aliens are getting impatient, said General Hyejin Yu, head of Earth's military. Our spies in Council space report more talk about using force to bring us into their organization. How much more time do we need? President An asked. 2 years, said Admiral Park, joining the meeting by video link from orbit. Maybe less if we push the schedule. What about the outer colonies? Asked Foreign Minister Dong-Soo Kim. Are they ready? Titan base is operational, reported Colonel Wu Jin-kang. Europa Station will be online next month. The asteroid belt facilities are ahead of schedule. President An looked at each person around the table. These people had been working together for decades to prepare for this moment. Earth had been playing a very dangerous game, pretending to be weak while building the strongest military force in the galaxy. What if we're wrong? Asked Dr. Minseo Kim, who had joined the meeting from Luna Station. What if the aliens really do just want to help us? Then we'll have the strongest defense force in human history for no reason, President An replied. But I don't think we're wrong. Look at how they treat the other species in their council. The strong species give orders, the weak species follow them. I won't let humanity become servants. In the asteroid belt, Captain Hyunwoo Lee floated in the command center of Station Series 7. The station looked like a simple mining facility from the outside. Inside, it was one of the most advanced intelligence centers in the solar system. Captain Lee watched his screens as they tracked every ship that moved through the Sol system. His job was to make sure the aliens saw exactly what Earth wanted them to see, and nothing more. Alien probe entering Sector 7, reported Intelligence Officer Minji Song. Let them see the cargo ships, Captain Lee ordered. Make sure they don't detect the patrol craft. This was the most important part of Earth's plan. The aliens had to believe that humans were still primitive. They had to think that Earth's small fleet of visible ships was all humans had. They could never suspect that Earth was building a secret armada. Captain Lee had been doing this job for 10 years. He had watched alien spy ships, listened to their communications, and learned their weaknesses. He knew their ship designs, their weapons, and their tactics. When the time came for war, Earth would be ready. Back on Mars, Engineer Taeyang Cho stood before the newest ship in the fleet. It was beautiful and terrible, a work of art designed for destruction. The ship's name was painted on its hull in Korean characters, Seoul's Fury. This would be the flagship of Earth's fleet when the time came to reveal themselves. Admiral Ji-hoon Nam would command it, and from its bridge he would announce to the galaxy that Earth was no longer hiding. Taeyang touched the ship's hull. The metal was warm under his hand. Soon, very soon, this ship and hundreds like it would carry humanity to the stars, not as servants or junior members of someone else's council, but as equals. The aliens thought they knew everything about humans. They thought humans were weak and afraid. They thought humans needed protection and guidance. They were about to learn how wrong they were. 3 months after Ambassador Veltari's latest failure, the Galactic Council met on the great station of Nexus Prime. The meeting hall was huge, with representatives from over 300 different species. But today they were all talking about one thing: the humans. Counselor Kethma of the Hegemony stood at the center of the hall. He was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. His species had conquered dozens of worlds before joining the Council, and he didn't like being told no. Honored members, Kethma began, his voice carrying across the vast chamber. We have been patient with the humans for 30 years. Too patient. They refuse our gifts. They ignore our warnings. They act like they don't need the Council's protection. Murmurs of agreement came from many seats. Other species nodded their heads or made sounds of approval. What do you propose? Asked Counselor Zethara of the Academic Union. Her people were scholars and scientists more interested in learning than fighting. Economic pressure, Kethma replied. We stop all trade ships from entering their system. We place monitoring stations around their space. We show them that isolation has a price. And, if they still refuse? Asked another voice. Kethma's eyes grew cold. Then we help them see reason. For their own good, of course. Far away in the Sol system, Captain Hyunwoo Lee listened to this conversation through hidden transmitters his spy ships had placed on. Council vessels. He sat in his command chair aboard the secret base asteroid station Bravo, hidden inside what looked like a normal mining rock. Send this to Earth immediately, he told Communications Officer Sora Yoon. Code it as Priority Alpha. Captain Lee studied the tactical display showing the Sol system. Red dots marked Council spy ships that had been watching Earth for months. Blue dots showed Earth's visible ships, the ones the aliens were supposed to see. Green dots showed Earth's real forces hidden throughout the system. Sir? Called out sensor operator Jihan Cho. We're detecting 3 more Council ships entering the outer system. They're not trying to hide. Captain Lee nodded. The Council was getting bolder. Soon they would move from watching to acting. 1. Earth President Soo Min-on read the intelligence report in her secure office. The news was not good, but it wasn't unexpected either. She had known this day would come. How long before they try to force us? She asked Admiral Park, who had come down from orbit for this emergency meeting. Months, maybe weeks, Admiral Park replied. The hegemony species are not known for patience. Once they decide to act, they move fast. Are we ready for Phase 2? President An asked. Yes, ma'am, said Colonel Woo Jin Kang. We can start showing them selected technologies anytime you give the order. Phase 2 was a carefully planned operation. Earth would begin, accidentally, revealing some of their advanced technology to alien observers, not enough to show their true strength, but enough to make the aliens think twice about easy conquest. President An looked out her window at the city below. People walked the streets, went to work, lived their lives. Most of them had no idea that their world was on the edge of war with aliens who commanded hundreds of worlds. Begin Phase 2, she ordered, but carefully. We need them curious, not alarmed. In the asteroid belt, engineer Woo Jin Kang received his orders. He commanded a team of 300 engineers and technicians spread across a dozen hidden bases. Their job was to run the demonstration operations. First target is the mining convoy near Ceres, Woo Jin told his team leaders. We'll let them see our new gravity manipulation technology. Make it look like an accident. Lieutenant Bowman Park nodded. What about the escort ships? They can see the new defensive screens, but not the weapon systems. Not yet. The operation began 6 hours later. A normal Earth mining convoy was moving through the asteroid belt just like they did every day. But today was different. Council spy ships were watching from a distance, recording everything. The lead mining ship, commanded by Captain Yeonwoo Kim, began its demonstration. To the aliens, it looked like the ship was having technical problems. The gravity around the ship began to change in impossible ways, pulling asteroids toward it and then pushing them away. Are you seeing this? One alien observer asked another. Impossible, came the reply. Humans don't have gravity manipulation technology. That's 4th-level physics. But they were seeing it. The human ship was doing things that should require technology the Council had taken 3,000 years to develop. Then the escort ships began their show. When a large asteroid drifted too close to the mining ship, the escorts activated defensive fields that the aliens had never seen before. Energy barriers appeared around the ships, but they weren't like normal shields. These moved and changed shape, reaching out to grab the asteroid and gently push it away. On the spy ship, the alien captain sent an urgent message to Council space. Human technology more advanced than reported, require immediate analysis. Similar demonstrations happened across the Sol system over the next few weeks. Each one was carefully planned to show the aliens specific things while hiding others. Earth wanted the Council to know that humans weren't helpless, but not how strong they really were. Dr. Yoon Jung-han worked in Earth's most secret facility, deep under the mountains of Switzerland. She was a language expert, but not for human languages. She studied alien communications, breaking their codes and listening to their secret messages. The Council is splitting into 3 groups, she reported to the Global Defense Council. One group wants to leave us alone. One group wants to force us to join them. The third group thinks we might be dangerous. Which group is winning? Asked General He-Jin Yu. The second group, Dr. Han replied. The hegemony is convincing others that humans are too primitive to be dangerous, but advanced enough to be useful. They want to take our technology and make us a client species. Admiral Dong-Hyun Seo listened to this news from his command ship in orbit around Jupiter. He was in charge of building Earth's secret fleet and the timeline was getting tight. How many ships do we have ready now? He asked his aide, Commander Yuna Choi. 412 combat ready, she replied. 200 more will be finished next month. We'll have our 1,000 ships in 8 months. The Council won't wait 8 months, Admiral Seo said. Can we accelerate the schedule? We can finish 600 ships in 4 months, Commander Choi said. But the crews won't be fully trained. Admiral Seo thought about this. 600 ships with partly trained crews, or 800 ships with experienced crews. It was a hard choice. On the secret training world of Kepler Station, hidden in a distant part of the system, Commander Yuna Choi's other job was training the new generation of human space pilots. The facility was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, with training rooms that could simulate any space battle. The pilots were young, most of them in their 20s. They came from Earth's military academies, but their training here was unlike anything the military had ever done before. Remember, Commander Choi told her latest class, alien ships are big and slow. They depend on heavy armor and shields. Our ships are fast and smart. We hit them and move before they can hit back. Pilot trainee Sunwoo Lee raised his hand. What if they have escort fighters? Alien fighters are designed to protect slow ships, Commander Choi replied. They're not built for real dogfights. Our ships can outturn, outrun, and outfight anything they have. The training simulators showed this. Human pilots in Earth's new fighters could defeat alien squadrons twice their size, but simulations weren't real battles. Commander Choi hoped they would never have to find out if their training was good enough. Dr. Jamin Rowe worked in a different secret facility, this one hidden on Europa, Jupiter's ice moon. He was the head of Earth's Weapons Research Division, and he had been working on humanity's secret advantages for 15 years. The most important breakthrough was quantum-entangled targeting. Human weapons could lock onto targets instantly, regardless of distance or interference. An Earth ship could fire at an alien vessel from across a solar system and hit exactly where they aimed. How accurate is it? Asked visiting General He-Jin Yu. Perfect, Dr. Rowe replied. Distance doesn't matter. Shields don't matter. If we can see the target, we can hit it. What about their jamming systems? Quantum entanglement can't be jammed, Dr. Rowe said with a smile. It's physics, not technology. General Yu looked at the test results. Earth's weapons could hit targets that alien sensors couldn't even detect. When the fighting started, the aliens would face something they had never encountered before. As the months passed, the Council's spy ships became bolder. They moved closer to Earth's colonies, scanning everything they could find. Captain Hunwoo Lee tracked them all from his hidden stations. They're looking for weaknesses, he reported to Earth. They want to know where to strike when they decide to attack. The aliens found what they expected to find. Earth's visible defenses were light. The orbital stations around Earth and Mars had some weapons, but nothing that could stop a serious attack. The mining colonies in the asteroid belt looked completely defenseless. What the aliens didn't see were the hidden weapons platforms scattered throughout the system. They didn't detect the invisible patrol ships that followed their every move. They had no idea that their own spy ships were being watched and recorded. When will they come? The council chambers on Nexus Prime had never been so divided. For weeks, representatives from 300 species had argued about what to do with Earth. The Great Hall echoed with angry voices in dozens of different languages. Dr. Eun-jung Han listened to it all from Earth's secret listening posts. Her translation computers worked day and night, turning alien words into human understanding. What she heard made her worried. The vote is close, she reported to the Emergency Defense Committee in Geneva. The hegemony is pushing hard for military action. They're saying humans are becoming dangerous. President Suman An studied the intelligence reports spread across her desk. Photos of alien ships gathering at the edge of council space. Intercepted messages talking about human problems and necessary interventions. "How much time do we have?" she asked. "Days, maybe hours," replied Admiral Jihun Nam, who had just arrived from the outer system. "The fleet is almost ready to move." General Heejin Yu brought up the tactical display. Red dots showed the council fleet, 500 ships of various sizes, all armed and ready for battle. Blue dots showed Earth's visible defenses, a few dozen orbital platforms and patrol ships. What the display didn't show were the green dots. Those were classified at the highest level. Only 12 people on Earth knew about the green dots, and they represented humanity's real strength. "Are all our ships in position?" President An asked. "Yes, ma'am," Admiral Nam replied. "Hidden throughout the system, waiting for your order." On the outer edge of the Sol system, Admiral Donghyun Seo floated in the command center of the massive battleship Sol's Fury. The ship was dark and cold, powered down to avoid detection. Around it, hundreds of other Earth ships waited in silence. Admiral Seo had been a fighter pilot in his youth, then a ship captain, then a fleet commander. Now he commanded the largest secret military force in human history. In a few days he would either be a hero or the man who led humanity to destruction. "Status report," he said quietly. "All ships report ready," replied his aide, Captain Seo Young Park. "Crews are at combat stations. Weapons are charged. We're ready to fight." "Admiral," Seo nodded. The waiting was the hardest part. His ships were faster and better armed than anything the Council had, but they had never been tested in real battle. Training simulations could only teach so much. On Europa Station, Dr. Yemin Ro was making final adjustments to Earth's secret weapons. The quantum targeting systems were working perfectly, but he wanted to be sure. When the fighting started, there would be no second chances. "Run the test one more time," he told his assistant, Dr. Kyungmin Park. The test target was a piece of space junk orbiting Jupiter, about the size of a council warship. Dr. Ro aimed the targeting system at it from Europa, more than 1,000,000 kilometers away. The weapon fired. Light speed was too slow for what happened next. The quantum entangled beam hit the target instantly, regardless of distance. The space junk simply vanished, torn apart at the atomic level. "Perfect accuracy," Dr. Park reported. "No energy signature, no warning. The target never knew what hit it." Dr. Ro smiled. The aliens were used to fighting with weapons that took time to travel between ships. They used heavy shields and armor because they could see attacks coming. Earth's weapons gave no warning and couldn't be blocked. In the asteroid belt, Commander Yuna Choi led the final training exercise for Earth's fighter pilots. 200 young men and women sat in their cockpits waiting for the exercise to begin. "This is it," Commander Choi announced over the radio. "Tomorrow we might be fighting for real. Remember everything you've learned. Trust your ships. Trust each other. Trust yourselves." The exercise was a simulation of the coming battle. The computers created virtual council ships attacking through the asteroid belt. The human pilots had to stop them. Pilot Minho Jung led the first squadron into the simulation. His fighter was sleek and fast, built with technology that was part human invention and part stolen alien science. It could accelerate at speeds that would kill any organic pilot. But humans had solved that problem too. The virtual enemy ships were big and slow, just like real council vessels. They relied on heavy weapons and thick armor. Against Earth's fighters, they might as well have been standing still. "Target locked," Pilot Young reported as he dove toward a virtual battleship. His quantum torpedoes hit the target before the alien. Gunners could even turn their weapons. The simulation ship exploded in digital fire. All around the asteroid belt, the exercise played out the same way. Human fighters danced between enemy shots, striking fast and disappearing before the aliens could respond. In 30 minutes, 200 pilots destroyed 500 simulated enemy ships without losing a single fighter. Commander Choi watched the results with mixed feelings. The simulation showed that Earth's pilots could win, but simulations weren't reality. Real battles were messy and unpredictable. People made mistakes. Equipment failed. Good pilots died. All pilots returned to base, she ordered. Get some rest. Tomorrow might be the most important day in human history. On Earth, President Han met with the world's leaders one last time before the battle. Representatives from every nation sat around the table in the secure bunker beneath Geneva. These people had worked together for decades to prepare for this moment. The Council fleet will arrive in less than 12 hours, she announced. They expect us to surrender without a fight. They think we're primitive and helpless, Foreign Minister Dong-Soo Kim spoke up. Are we sure this is the right choice? Maybe we could still negotiate. With what? Replied General Yu. They want us to become their subjects. They want to take our technology and make us serve them. There's nothing to negotiate. President. An looked around the table at faces she had known for years. This is humanity's choice. We can bow down and accept slavery, or we can fight for our freedom. The vote was unanimous. We fight. In deep space, the Council fleet prepared for its final jump to Earth. Admiral Corthell stood on the bridge of his flagship looking at the tactical display. His 500 ships were arranged in perfect formation, ready to overwhelm any resistance. Final intelligence report on human defenses? He asked. Minimal, replied his intelligence officer. Maybe 50 ships total, all primitively armed. A few orbital defense platforms around their main worlds. They have no chance against us. Admiral Corthell nodded. This would be over quickly. The humans would see his fleet and realize they had no choice but to surrender. It was always the same with primitive species. All ships prepare for jump, he ordered. Destination, human home system. We'll give them one chance to surrender, then we'll take their world. The jump engines powered up across the fleet. 500 ships prepared to cross the galaxy in an instant, carrying the combined military might of the Galactic Council toward a small, quiet world called Earth. But Earth was no longer quiet. Deep, in the Martian shipyards, the last construction crews were evacuating. The secret bases had built 1,000 ships in 30 years, and now those ships were moving to their battle positions. Engineer Taeyang Cho watched from the command center as the final vessels left their hidden docks. That's the last one, reported Engineer Nari Hong. The shipyards are empty. Taeyang felt a mixture of pride and fear. He had spent half his life building these ships. Each one was a masterpiece of human engineering, combining Earth science with stolen alien technology to create something new and deadly. Are they good enough? Nari asked quietly. We'll find out, Taeyang replied. But I think the aliens are in for a surprise. Captain Hyunwoo Lee made his final report from Asteroid Station Bravo. For months, he had watched Council spy ships move through the Sol system, mapping human defenses and looking for weaknesses. Now those spy ships were about to get a very different view of human capabilities. All monitoring stations report ready, he told Earth Command. The aliens think they know everything about our defenses. They're wrong. The Council spies had seen what Earth wanted them to see. Cargo ships and mining vessels, a few patrol craft and orbital platforms. The aliens had no idea that 1,000 warships were hidden throughout the system, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal themselves. Council fleet entering detection range, reported sensor operator Jihan Cho. 500 ships in standard. Attack formation. Captain Lee smiled grimly. Standard formation was perfect for what Earth had planned. The aliens were approaching in a tight group, making themselves an ideal target for the trap that waited for them. On Luna Station, Dr. Minseo Kim made final preparations for what might be humanity's last day of freedom. If Earth lost the coming battle, the aliens would take over their world. Humans would become servants in their own solar system, but if Earth won, everything would change. The galaxy would learn that humanity was not weak or primitive. The Council would face an enemy they had never imagined. Are you ready to broadcast? Asked her assistant, Dr. Sun Ho Lee. Yes, Dr. Kim replied. When the Admiral gives the signal, we'll transmit our message to every species in the galaxy. They'll all know what happened here. The message was simple but revolutionary. For 30 years, humanity had pretended to be weak while building the most advanced fleet in known space. Today, the pretense would end. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Jiho Park stood on the bridge of the command ship Incheon's Pride. The Council fleet moved through space like a wall of death. 500 warships spread across millions of kilometers, their weapons charging with deadly energy. Admiral Corthell watched from his command ship as Earth's pathetic defenses came into view. "Target the orbital platforms first," he ordered. "Then the surface installations. Make it quick and clean." The alien weapons fired. Beams of pure energy lanced across space toward Earth's defenders. The human orbital platforms tried to fight back, their primitive weapons sparking harmlessly against alien shields. Admiral Jiho Park watched his ships die from the bridge of Incheon's Pride. This was the hardest part of the plan, letting his people sacrifice themselves to maintain the illusion of weakness. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported his damage control officer. "Engineering is offline." "Keep fighting," Admiral Park ordered, even as his ship shook under alien fire. "Make them work for it." Around Earth and Mars, the visible human fleet fought desperately against impossible odds. Their weapons barely scratched the alien ships while Council energy beams tore through human hulls like paper. To the watching aliens, everything was going exactly as expected. The humans were brave but hopeless, throwing their primitive ships. Against superior technology, Admiral Corthell felt a moment of respect for human courage. They were dying for nothing, but they died well. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "detecting more human ships in the asteroid belt. Small mining vessels, trying to escape." "Let them go," Admiral Corthell replied. "Focus on the military targets." In the asteroid belt, Captain Hunwoo Lee watched the battle from his hidden command center. The first phase was working perfectly. The aliens thought they were winning easily, just as Earth had planned. "All hidden ships report ready," his communications officer announced. "Waiting for your signal." Captain Lee checked his chronometer. The timing had to be perfect. Too early, and some Council ships might escape. Too late, and Earth's visible defenders would all be dead. "Stand by," he ordered. "Not yet." On Europa Station, Dr. Jamin Rowe made final adjustments to the quantum weapon grid. Hundreds of targeting systems across the solar system were locked onto Council ships, waiting for the order to fire. "All weapons report ready," Dr. Rowe announced to Earth Command. "Every Council ship is targeted. We can hit them all simultaneously." The EIU. Quantum weapons were Earth's greatest secret. They fired instantly across any distance, giving no warning and penetrating any shield. When they activated, the Council fleet would have no time to react. Near Jupiter, Admiral Donghyun Seo floated in the command center of Seoul's Fury. Around his flagship, hundreds of Earth's most advanced warships waited in the darkness. These were the ships the aliens had never seen, the secret fleet that would change everything. "Admiral," called out Captain Seo-young Park. "Earth Command is requesting fleet status. All ships report ready for Operation Sunrise," Admiral Seo replied. "We're ready to show the galaxy what humans can really do." The hidden fleet was spread throughout the outer system, positioned to surround the Council forces when they revealed themselves. Each ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, faster and deadlier than anything the aliens had ever faced. Admiral Seo looked at the tactical display showing the Council fleet destroying Earth's visible defenses. It hurt to watch human ships die even though he knew it was necessary. The aliens had to believe they were winning. Back near Earth, the last of the orbital platforms exploded under alien fire. Admiral Jiho Park's ship was crippled, drifting helplessly as Council forces closed in for the kill. "This is Admiral Corthell," came the alien broadcast. "Humans of Earth, your defenses are destroyed. Surrender now, and we will be merciful." The response came not from Earth's government, but from a new voice. A voice the Council had never heard before. "Admiral Corthell," the transmission began. "This is Admiral Jihoon Nam of the Earth Defense Fleet. We appreciate your offer, but we must decline." Admiral Corthell frowned. Earth Defense Fleet? His intelligence reports had never mentioned an admiral named Nam. Who was this human? "You have destroyed our outer defenses," Admiral Nam continued. But you have not met our real fleet yet." "What is he talking about?" Admiral Corthell asked his intelligence officer. "What real fleet?" Before anyone could answer, space itself seemed to explode with light. Throughout the solar system, 1,000 human warships decloaked simultaneously. They appeared from behind asteroids, from the shadows of planets, from the empty space where the aliens thought nothing existed. Admiral Corthell stared at his sensors in disbelief. The display showed ship after ship appearing around his fleet. Human ships. Big ships. Ships that looked nothing like the primitive vessels his forces had just destroyed. "Impossible," he whispered. "Where did they come from?" The answer came in, the form of Admiral Nam's voice, broadcasting on all frequencies. "For 30 years, the Council has offered humanity membership as junior partners. For 30 years, we have refused. Did you think we spent those decades doing nothing?" The Council fleet was completely surrounded. Human ships had appeared above them, below them, and on all sides. The aliens were trapped in a three-dimensional cage of earth steel and human determination. "Unknown human vessels," Admiral Corthell broadcast, trying to keep his voice steady. "You are outnumbered. We have 500 ships to your—" He paused to count the contacts on his sensor screen. "How many ships do you have?" 1,000. Admiral Nam replied calmly. 1,000 ships built in secret while you thought we were primitive. 1,000 ships designed specifically to fight your technology." Admiral Corthell felt fear for the first time in decades. His fleet was powerful, but 1,000 enemy ships was too many. And these weren't the simple vessels his forces had just destroyed. These looked advanced, dangerous. "All ships," he ordered. "Battle formation. Prepare to engage the human fleet." But the humans moved first. Captain Seo-Young Park led the first attack wave from her fighter squadron. Her ship was small and fast, designed to slip between the massive alien vessels and strike at their weak points. The Council ships tried to target her squadron, but the human fighters moved too fast. They accelerated at impossible speeds, turning and twisting in ways that should have killed their pilots. "How are they surviving those accelerations?" Admiral Corthell's tactical officer asked. The answer was another human secret. Earth's fighters used inertial dampening technology that let human pilots survive maneuvers that would turn any alien into soup. The Council had never developed such technology because their ships were too big and slow to need it. Captain Park's torpedo hit the Council battleship Righteous Vengeance directly in its main reactor. The ship's shields flickered and died as the quantum warhead tore through its atomic structure. All around the Council fleet, human fighters struck like angry wasps. They were too small and fast for the big alien guns to target effectively, but their weapons punched through Council shields like they weren't there. "Shields are useless," reported a Council captain. "Their weapons ignore our defenses completely." Admiral Corthell realized his fleet was in serious trouble. The humans weren't just more numerous than expected. Their technology was better. Ships that should have been primitive were using weapons and defenses that surpassed anything in Council space. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Our intelligence said they were barely space-capable." The answer came from Dr. Minseo Kim, broadcasting from Luna Station. "Admiral Corthell," she said, "your spies saw exactly what we wanted them to see. While you watched our cargo ships and mining stations, we were building the most advanced fleet in galactic history." "Using what technology?" Admiral Corthell asked desperately. "Our own," Dr. Kim replied, "with improvements borrowed from your own ships." "Did you think we would ignore all those convenient crashes over the years? All those helpful technology demonstrations during peaceful meetings?" The truth hit Admiral Corthell like a physical blow. The humans had been stealing Council technology for decades. Every crashed probe, every diplomatic visit, every peaceful exchange had been an opportunity for Earth to learn alien secrets. But they hadn't just copied Council technology. They had improved it. The quantum weapons fired next. Across the solar system, hundreds of targeting systems locked onto Council ships and fired simultaneously. The weapons traveled instantly, giving no warning and offering no defense. Council ships simply vanished. One moment they were there, the next they were expanding clouds of atoms. 50 ships died in the first volley, then 50 more. Evasive. Maneuvers, Admiral Corthell ordered frantically. All ships scatter, but there was nowhere to run. The human fleet surrounded them completely, and Earth's weapons could hit any target regardless of distance or movement. Admiral Donghyun Seo watched the battle from his flagship, feeling a mixture of pride and sadness. Pride in humanity's achievement, sadness for the aliens who were dying because they had underestimated Earth. Signal all ships, he ordered. Begin Phase 2. The hidden weapons platforms activated next. Throughout the asteroid belt and outer planets, massive guns that had been disguised as mining equipment revealed their true nature. They were siege weapons, designed to destroy the largest ships in the Council fleet. The Council flagship Dominions. Will took a direct hit from a weapon hidden on Ceres. News of the Council's defeat spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. On 1,000 worlds in 100 different languages, the impossible story was told and retold. The primitive humans had destroyed the greatest fleet in galactic history. Journalist Johann Bay had been waiting for this moment for 20 years. From his hidden observation post on Titan, he had recorded everything. The secret fleet, the hidden weapons, the battle that changed everything. Now his footage was being broadcast on every news network from the galactic core to the outer rim. Images of human ships destroying Council vessels, audio of Admiral Nam's declaration, proof that Earth was not what it seemed. This is Johann Bay, reporting from the Sol system, he said, as his cameras showed the wreckage of the Council fleet drifting in space. What you are seeing is real. In 15 minutes, humanity has rewritten the rules of galactic politics. On Nexus Prime, the Council chambers were in chaos. Representatives from 300 species shouted at each other in panic and confusion. How had this happened? How had they all been so wrong about humanity? Counselor Kethma of the Hegemony stood at his platform, his blue skin pale with shock. His species had conquered dozens of worlds, but they had never faced anything like Earth's fleet. Order, he shouted. We must have order. But order was impossible. Half the Council demanded immediate revenge against humanity. The other half wanted to negotiate before Earth decided to attack Council worlds. Fear filled the great chamber like poison gas. The humans have been preparing for war while we offered them peace, accused Counselor Vextal of the Merchant Coalition. They played us for fools. They stole our technology, added Counselor Zethara of the Academic Union. Every diplomatic meeting was a chance for them to learn our secrets. The truth was even worse than they knew. Deep in the Council's classified files were records of every human interaction over 30 years. Every crashed probe that had been recovered by human ships. Every technology demonstration that had been observed by human scientists. Every piece of equipment that had been accidentally left behind during diplomatic visits. The humans had been learning and improving. In the Sol system, Earth's leaders were dealing with their own crisis. Victory brought new problems. The galaxy knew about Earth's fleet now, and that knowledge would have consequences. Emperor Minji Song stood on the bridge of Sol's Fury as it took position over Nexus Prime. She was Earth's newly elected leader, for galactic affairs, chosen because the old government structures couldn't handle what came next. The title Emperor was symbolic. Earth was still a democracy. But the galaxy understood emperors better than presidents, and image mattered in galactic politics. Are you ready for this? Asked Admiral Ji-Hoon Nam, who stood beside her. No one could be ready for this, Emperor, Song replied. But we'll do what we must. The great ship hung in space above the Council's capital, its weapons powered down but clearly visible. It was a message that every species in the galaxy could understand. Earth was strong enough to threaten the Council's homeworld, but disciplined enough not to attack without cause. Open a channel to the Council chambers, Emperor Song ordered. Her image appeared on screens throughout Nexus Prime. Representatives who had ignored Earth's messages for 30 years now hung on her every word. Honored members of the Galactic Council, she began. I am Emperor Minji Song of the Terran Federation. I come to you not as a supplicant seeking membership, but as the representative of a sovereign power demanding recognition. The chamber fell, silent. No one had ever spoken to the Council this way before. For 30 years, you have offered humanity junior membership in your organization. We declined because we would not accept second-class citizenship. Today, we offer you a new arrangement. Emperor Song paused, letting her words sink in. Earth will join the Council as a full member with equal voting rights. In return, we will share selected technologies and offer our protection to Council worlds. Refuse, and the Terran Federation will chart its own course among the stars. It too was not a request. It was an ultimatum backed by 1,000 warships. Councillor Kethma found his voice first. The Council does not negotiate under threat of force. Neither did Earth, Emperor Song replied smoothly. Yet you brought 500 warships to our home system. The difference is that our fleet actually works. The insult hit home. The Council's military reputation lay in ruins around Earth's solar system. What guarantee do we have that you won't use your weapons against Council worlds? Asked Councillor Zathara. The same guarantee you offered us, Emperor Song said. None. Trust is earned, not given. But consider this. If we wanted to conquer Council space, would we be talking? Admiral Kyung Ho Yang demonstrated humanity's new position by systematically disabling the orbital defense platforms around Nexus Prime. His ship's quantum weapons picked off the satellites one by one, each shot perfectly placed to destroy weapons, while leaving life support intact. The platforms died without warning, without defense, without hope of retaliation. In 5 minutes, the Council's most protected world was left defenseless. Your weapons are useless against our technology, Admiral Yang broadcast to the stunned Council representatives. Your shields cannot stop our guns. Your sensors cannot track our ships. Your fastest vessels are slower than our cargo haulers. It was a devastating demonstration of Earth's technological superiority. The Council had built their power on superior technology, and now they faced a species that made their best weapons look like toys. How? Whispered Councillor Vextal. How did a primitive species develop such advanced technology? The answer came from Dr. Min Seo Kim, now serving as Earth's chief science advisor. You showed us, she said simply. Every crashed probe, every diplomatic gift, every technology demonstration. We studied it all. Then we made it better. Impossible, protested Councillor Zathara. It takes thousands of years to develop such technology. For you, perhaps, Dr. Kim replied. Humans think differently. We adapt. We improve. We innovate. While you spent 3,000 years perfecting your technology, we spent 30 years surpassing it. The Council had made a fundamental error. They had assumed that all species developed technology at the same rate they did. They had never encountered a species like humanity, one that could take existing technology and push it beyond all previous limits. On Earth, Director Heron Kwan was establishing the new governmental structure that would rule humanity's galactic empire. The Terran Federation would be different from the old Earth governments. It had to be to handle the challenges of ruling multiple star systems. We need colonies, she told the planning committee. The galaxy will test our strength eventually. We need to be strong enough to meet any challenge. Where should we start? Asked Colonial Planning Minister Sun Ho Yoon. The Kepler system, Director Kwan replied. We already have a hidden base there. It can become our first official colony. Then the Wolf system, then beyond. Earth's expansion would be rapid and purposeful. Not conquest for its own sake, but strategic positioning. Humanity would claim the best worlds before other species could object. Admiral Donghyun Seo oversaw the construction of new shipyards in the outer system. Earth's 1,000 ships were just the beginning. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and humanity would need many more vessels to protect their growing empire. How many ships can we build per year? He asked Chief Engineer Taeyang Cho. With the new automated yards, maybe 2,000, Taeyang replied. More if we can establish shipyards in other systems. 2,000 ships per year. Within a decade, Earth would have a fleet larger than the entire Council Navy. The galaxy's balance of power was shifting permanently in humanity's favor. Back on Nexus Prime, the Council was learning to live with their new reality. Emperor Song had taken up residence on Sol's Fury, which maintained its position over the Yar capital. The ship's presence was a constant reminder of Earth's power. The humans want mineral rights in the Vega system, reported Trade Counselor Melhan. In exchange, they're offering quantum targeting technology. It was a generous offer. Earth's weapons technology could revolutionize Council defenses, but it also meant depending on human goodwill for their most advanced military systems. Are we really going to make ourselves dependent on human technology? Asked Counselor Kethma. We're already dependent, Counselor Zethara replied bitterly. The humans could destroy our fleets anytime they choose. At least this way we get something in return. The vote was close, but the Council agreed to Earth's terms. Humanity became a full member with equal rights, the first species in galactic history to force such an arrangement. The ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. Emperor Song stood in the council chambers as representatives from 300 worlds watched her take the oath of membership. I swear that Earth will honor the Council's principles of peace and cooperation, she said. We will protect the weak, defend the innocent, and work for the good of all species. But everyone knew the real meaning of the ceremony. The Council no longer ruled the galaxy alone. Earth was now an equal partner, backed by superior technology and unshakable determination. In the months that followed, the galaxy adjusted to its new order. Some species tried to challenge Earth's position, sending fleets to test human defenses. They learned quickly that Earth's 1,000 ships were not just